Welcome back to the Success and Money Mindset channel. If you're new here, I'm Zena, and this channel is all about helping you become successful in your daily life, to develop a growth mindset, and to really help you create a roadmap so that you can achieve the goals that you set out for yourself. Today is March 2nd, and I wanted to go over how you can create a mobile application from scratch within a few short hours. The platform we're going to be using today is Good Barber, so let's dive in. We're going to be making a dog training application today, and I'm going to show you exactly how you can build it out from scratch using all of the amazing sections available within this platform. So on the top right-hand side, if I click on Add a Section, you can add in anything from a blog, a gallery of photos, you can add in your social media, you can add in an About Us page, a Contact Us page. If you have a physical location, you can even add in a map so that your users can find you and where you are physically. You can have a calendar and podcasts. Podcasts would be if you have content that you want to be able to deliver to your users in an audible fashion, then you can certainly add in a podcast. You can have a favorite section so your users can favorite certain areas of your application and then reference it at a later time. You can have a forum. So if there's a specific set of questions that you want to ask them or a survey that you want them to fill out, then you can have them fill that out. And there's so many other amazing aspects that you can add into your application to make it unique and robust so that your users will continue to use the app and come back each and every day. So today we're going to be adding in a blog section, and this is going to act as if we're adding in multiple chapters to an ebook. So I'm just going to call this dog care because that's the content that we're going to be adding in. And I'm going to be adding in my first section here. I'm going to click on create an article. And from there, I can add in exactly what I want. So let me just pull this up here. I have some content ready to go, and I can add that in. So I'm going to start off with the introduction here. Let's just go past the table of contents. So starting off with the introduction, I'll just copy that and I'll put that into the title of my article. It's not really an article, it's just what they call it. But what we're adding in are chapters to an ebook. And we'll then add in our chapter content. So I'm just copying and pasting it from my Word document into Good Barber. And then I'm going to remove any formatting that that automatically comes in, and then remove any additional spacing so that it is formatted in a nice way. And I'll do this for all of the content that I'm adding in. I'll remove this flag, red flag that is showing up there, as well as all of the white space within each paragraph. So it just takes a couple of seconds really to be able to format it. And you can format it really whatever looks best for you, whatever is your preference. For me, I just prefer to keep it really simple and go with the default font and text that's already available in Good Barber. And once I'm happy with it, then I can click on publish. Before I do that, I'll just briefly talk about the right-hand side here. So you can decide where you want this piece of content to appear within the app. Notice that we have our section dog care that we've already created, as well as another section that is called blog. So for now, we're going to put it into dog care. If I had other sections within this application, then I could simply uncheck and check off the areas that I would want it to show up in. You do have to select at least one category or one section within the app for it to show up. So that's why it doesn't let me uncheck the dog care section without first checking off another area within the application. You can have an author. For this case, I'm going to have no author show up, because it is an ebook, and so we're not going to define an author there. You can show the date that you want this particular piece of content to be published. If it was articles or something else, then you might want to have a date associated with it. You can have people comment on that piece of work as well. So you can either have it activated or deactivate it so that nobody can leave comments on it. I'm going to leave it on because I want to have people interacting with the content and leaving their 2 cents about whether or not they enjoyed the piece of content or not. The other thing that I can add in is if I click on or hover over the add an element section, I can add in either a photo, a video, a quote, or I can even embed additional content into this particular piece of content. So I'm going to add in a photograph. And as that is loading, I can then either select a photo from my computer, or I can use their stock footage that is available within the platform itself. So let's click on library, and I'm going to search for dog because, of course, this is dog content that we're having. So I'm going to upload this one here, and this is a pretty cute photo here. So I'm going to upload that. And then when I upload this photo, it also acts as the thumbnail for the category as I upload it. So I'm going to click on not save as a draft, but I'm going to go straight to publishing it. You can save it as a draft if you'd like the content to appear later on. Say you want to have multiple articles available within your application, but make the content kind of drip the content out. You can save everything, do it all in advance, and then publish it as each day goes by so that you can have a new piece of content released every single day. Okay, so that is the first chapter there that I've added in, and let's just see how it looks. And so this is how it's showing up on the application right now. I can see that it has still included the author and a date, which I'll show you another way to remove that in a second here. But if I go to the dog care section, I can see how the articles themselves or the chapters themselves show up within the app, and then also how the individual page will look. So if I click on this, this first chapter introduction, it will show me how that page looks as a user reading it on their application or on their phone. And so I do like how this is showing up. I like that we have some bolded, or not bolded, but larger font sections here to kind of define that it's a new section within the chapter. And it all is looking pretty good with no extra white space within the formatting section. So let's go ahead and add another piece of content or another chapter into this section here. So I'm going to go click on content and then add, and we're going to click on an article. And it automatically is going to appear in the dog care section. So I can add in my next piece of content or my next chapter, which is going to be chapter 1, therapeutic dogs. And then let's add in that chapter there. Okay, perfect. So I finished adding in all of my chapter content. The next thing I need to do is add in an image for each of these pieces of content, and that'll show up as the thumbnail for that specific chapter. So what I do is, as just like something super quick, is I will open them up, each chapter, as a new tab. And I'll quickly do that. And then I can simply add in the photo, and I'll search dog for each one, or puppy. Let's do that. And I'm going to select some images that I really like for each section here. So let's do that super quick. And adding the content in, it did take me about 10 minutes or so. Depending on how much content you have, it could take you a little bit longer, a little bit shorter of a time frame to add in the content, and of course then formatting it and updating it to the way you like it to be shown. And then the images, as I mentioned, you can add in either stock footage, or if you have your own photos that you'd like to add in, you can upload those from your computer as well. And then it's pretty easy to upload it that way. So I'm just quickly going through and adding a photo for each of these chapters. And I'm not thinking too much about the photos. Of course, when you create your own application, you might want to put a little bit more strategy or thought into which photos you're selecting, having them, maybe be more relevant to each chapter depending on the type of content that you are posting. All right, so once all those images are uploaded, I can just close out all of these tabs here and then hit refresh on my dashboard, and then all of those images will populate there. Now, the other thing is that when you're creating a brand new app in this platform, there is some demo content that is used, and I like to just delete out that demo content. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the display here. Right now, only 10 pieces of content are displaying at a time, and I'm going to just switch that to 100. And then what I'll do is I'll be able to select all of the content and unselect the content that I don't want to keep. And then I can delete it all out in one movement. So I'll just uncheck these chapters here that I have added in. Oops, accidentally clicked on that one there. So you do want to be a little bit careful when doing that. So let me just do that again. Let's uncheck these ones. This one. Okay. And the rest is all demo content that the application automatically has put in, just so you can see how it looks for each section. So they have some podcasts here and some articles as well. So then what I can do is just click on this red trash can, and I'll be able to permanently delete all of that content pretty quickly. Okay, so the next thing I want to show you is picking a theme for your application. And this will be the overall theme of how the app looks. Currently, if I preview it, my app is looking, it has like the red text at the top, and it's a white kind of background behind the text. And then each of the chapters has this like orangey red text to it as well. But if I wanted to change that, then I just go over to Theme Library. And within Good Barber, there are a number of different themes that you can choose from. So right now, the current theme is Traveler, and I can change it to any of these other themes that are available. I can also preview the theme before selecting it. So if I click on Diamond, for instance, I can then click on Live Preview, and I'll be able to preview what the theme will look like for my app before actually selecting it. So this one has the green text at the top and then the white background to it. So I think I'm going to go ahead with that theme. So I can click on Apply Theme and Continue. And then it'll automatically change over the theme to this green version with the white background. The next thing I want to do is I want to go into actually I want to go into sections, and I'm going to edit the menu page here. So there's a couple of different options that you can choose from. If I click on menu, just under header, I click on menu, then I can see the different layouts for the menu style. Right now, this is the swipe one. I can do little swipe, which is on the left-hand side here. Then it shows up there. I can do tab bar, which will show up at the bottom. And then I can do a floating tab bar as well. So it floats just above the bottom section here. I can do a grid view. There's also this one that is slate. And then you can also build it out from scratch. If you are familiar with HTML, then you can code in your own menu page as well. Or you can simply choose no menu page if you decide you don't want a menu at all. So I'm going to go ahead and use the little swipe here. So it's going to show up here on the side. And then I am going to go and I'm going to do a couple more edits here. Actually, let's go with just showing up at the bottom, the tab bar. Let's do that. So it's pretty easy to navigate from the bottom there. The other thing is I want to change the header here. So I want it to show up in the middle of the application. So I'm going to click on header at the top, and I'm going to capitalize dog and capitalize the D in dog and T in training, and then click OK. And then I can have it, the horizontal alignment, I can have it centered in the middle there. Okay, the next thing I want to do is I want to edit the home page, the way that looks. So I can click on home, the one with the little star beside it. And I can remove all of the widgets that aren't necessary. So this is also previous demo content that was in there. So I'm going to remove everything except for my dog care section. And then I can click on edit, and I can edit the way this one will display on the home page. And I do like the classic look. You can also do horizontal classic. So classic shows up like this. We have classic horizontal, minimal, which I don't love. You can toggle through the different chapters that way. You can do banner, and those are the different ones. And then uni classic as well. So I'm going to go with classic. And I also want the title to display at the top, so I can have this dog care title. We can capitalize all of that, do dog care, and that'll show up capitalized there. And I'm going to make the text a little bit smaller so it's not as large as the overall app title. So let's make this 25 points here. I can also change the font if I choose to have a different font, but to make it easy, I'm just going to go with the default font on there. The other thing is that I don't want this date to be showing up here. So in this same section where it says, if I scroll down to the bottom, it says info and date, I can have that removed. And if I remove that, then the date will disappear. The other thing is that right now you notice that only 3 chapters are showing, the introduction, chapter 1 and chapter 2. So I want to have all of the chapter content showing up. So I'll click on number of items, and then I'll just change that to 10, or you can change it to the specific number of chapters that are inside of your ebook or articles. I think you can have a maximum though of 24 pieces of content showing up at a time per section. So I'm going to change it to 10, and then I can see here that all of the chapters within the application are showing up for me. Okay, so I like how that is looking. I can also format the thumbnail. So if I want it to be a smaller square thumbnail, I can change it to that, or I can keep it at the rectangle size, how it is showing like that. And I'm going to keep it like that because I like how that looks. The next thing that we want to add in is an About Us section. So I'm going to click on Add a Section, and I'm going to click on About, and I can change this to About Us. And then if I go back to my content on the left-hand side and my content list, I can then edit the content within the About Us section. So I'll just title it About Us, and let's put some information in here. So I am an avid dog lover. We wanted to create this application for other dog lovers who are interested in training their pets and teaching them tricks. And if it doesn't seem like it shows if there's any spelling mistakes, which is something that we want to make sure that we're spelling everything correctly. So what I can do is I can pop open a Word document. Let's just go to Word and blank document, and then I can just paste that information in there and see if there's any spelling mistakes. I can even write it in here and then upload it or copy and paste it um, into my application so that I know that there are no spelling mistakes either inside of here. So I'm an avid dog lover who wanted to create this application for other dog lovers who are interested in training their pets and teaching them tricks. This app was created for you in mind. We are constantly adding new information, tips, and tricks to help you and your furry friend have the best life together. Right? You can always add a little bit more, but you kind of get the point of how it would kind of be inside of the application. Then I can save that and I can go back to content and I can even preview it. So I can view it now in the application and this is how it would show up. Perfect. So the next thing we want to do is we want to add in a gallery. So this would be like a gallery of photos that we can share with our with these dog lovers. So we have a section here already called gallery, but if you didn't have the section, then you would just click on the top right, add a section, and then click on gallery here. And I'm going to call this dog photos. And then I can upload my first photo. So I can click on browse. The great thing about this is that you can actually upload bulk photos into the gallery here. So you don't have to upload photos one at a time. What I like to do is if you need some stock footage, you can go to pixabay.com and then you can find a bunch of dog and cat photos or whatever photos you need for your own gallery that you're creating for your application. And I can go ahead and start downloading some photos that would work for my particular niche. So let's grab maybe 4 or 5 photos here, and then I'll show you exactly how it can be uploaded into the application. Perfect. I think that is probably enough. And now what I can do is I can click on add a photo and go to my downloads and I can upload all of these guys into my gallery. So notice that I was able to upload all of them at the same time, and then they will all be showing up in the actual gallery here. Awesome. So the only other thing you would want to do is just update the title for each of the images. You can do that in advance to uploading them into Goodbarber, or you can edit it directly inside of Goodbarber as well. I'm just going to do that now. I'm just going to call it a simple name, number 1, number 2. You could be more specific in your naming convention for all of the images. And the other thing is that these titles do show up on the application. So I would say be a little bit more creative than what I am doing right now with the naming convention for your images. And I'll just show you if I click on preview here, then I can show you exactly how it looks. So notice it says number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5. And yeah, so that's where it will show up. And then you would also be able to share these photos with friends and family when they actually download the application. So that's a cool feature of this as well, is that you can actually share content to other people. So I'm just going to close those out. And I want to add the gallery into my homepage as well. So I'm going to go into sections and I'm going to click on home. And then I can click on, if the section doesn't appear, then you can click on the plus button and you can add in a section, but it got automatically added into my homepage here. So I can just format it a little bit by clicking on edit, and it's just showing up there. I'm going to have a title, dog photos as well. Let's capitalize that, dog photos, and I'm going to make the font the same size. So it was 25 points. And then I have my dog photos showing up there, right? And then you can simply toggle through all of the different images that you have. Another very important part of creating an application is adding in your privacy policy, terms of use, and disclaimer. So I'm going to go into my settings section and I can click on terms and conditions. After you've clicked on terms and conditions, they actually have a template that you can use, and you just click on use template and it'll auto-populate the terms and conditions into the space provided. I'll just update the title here to terms and conditions. And then you can edit the existing content in here to match whatever terms and conditions you have for your specific application. If you have in-app purchases available in the app, which is an option you can have within this platform, then you would want to keep this section in here. Otherwise, you can, of course, delete it out and then make any other changes you need to the terms and conditions section there. Scrolling down, you can then add in your privacy policy. And the same thing, there is a template that you can use. And then you can edit the template accordingly to match your privacy policy. I believe you would want to add in an email address and a contact us section as well. And that you can just update based on the information that you have specific to you, to your company, or to you personally. Okay, and then I can click on save. And then I can click to return to settings. And notice that there's a bunch of other things that you might want to edit in here: app information, EU consent. You can customize your 404 page. If there's a page that isn't found or isn't linked correctly, then it'll show them the 404 page. You can add in your external connections, Facebook, Twitter, etc. And then you can fill out some other information that's pertinent to the application as well. So the other thing we're going to do is we want to make sure that our privacy policy and terms and conditions are showing up on our home page. So I'm going to go again to sections and then click on home. And then on this little plus button underneath dog photos, I can click on link. And we're going to be adding in the terms and conditions and privacy policy. I'm going to use the shortcut version for this. And we're going to click on link and click on terms and conditions of service. I'll just update that to terms and conditions. And then I'm going to add another link, and that will be for my privacy policy. And let's see how it is looking. If I scroll down, I can see that the text is white on a fairly white background. So I want to update the title text to black. And then now it can be more prominent and you can see the terms and conditions and privacy policy showing up there. Okay. Let's now update our navigation bar or our menu bar at the very bottom of the app. And to do that, you'll click into the menu section. This is where we originally updated the menu style. But if you scroll down a little bit and you see main navigation, I can then update the icons for each of these sections here. So I have video showing up, which I don't need. I have a gallery, which is there. And then there's another section for navigation here: podcasts, dog care, About Us, and Dog Photos. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove certain sections and then update the icon images. So to do that, I'll go back to Structure, and whatever I don't want to show up in the menu page can actually be dragged into the other sections area. So I don't want this gallery here to show up, so I'll pull that down. Podcasts I want to remove, videos I want to remove because none of that's currently available. And then this demo blog I'm also going to remove. And what I want, in fact, is I can even delete these out altogether. I just click on the three dots and then delete, and that will get deleted from the entire application altogether. So I can go ahead and I'm just going to delete all of these, in fact, to make it easy so that there's no additional content that isn't necessary in the application at this time. I can always add in additional sections later on. So now how it shows is that I have my home button, dog care, about us, and dog photos. And I want to update the icon image for dog care. So I'll go back into the menu section, and then I can click on dog care. And then here is the icon. I can click on edit the icon, and I can choose something that is more relevant to what that is about. And it is more of a book piece of content. So I'll try and find a book from all of these icons that are available. And let's see. So I think it's in another section. You can click on the different tabs here to see if there is a specific icon that you prefer. And just looking for the book. I have seen it before. Maybe it's not in this section. Let's go back to the other one. Oh, it was right in front of me, this one here. So that is the book there. And so then that gets updated in that section there. Okay, and the other thing that I want to do is I want to add in a disclaimer. So I'm going to click Add a Section, and there's no specific disclaimer option available in the sections portion. So I'm just going to click on the About Us instead, and I'm going to change it to disclaimer. And another way that you can edit content, I'm just going to drag this to the other sections. Another way you can edit content is on the home page. There is a little pencil here. If you click on that, you can click directly into editing the header, editing the section design, editing the section content, or the section settings. So I'm going to click on section content, and I'm going to call it disclaimer. And then I'm going to type in my disclaimer. So please note the information contained within this app is for information purposes only. Okay. And I can always add additional information if needed about the disclaimer. In fact, I would. When you create your own disclaimers, I would add additional information and make it relevant if it's in different particular niches, finance or health or whatever it is, then you might want to add additional types of disclaimers as well for that. So then that shows up the way it does here. And then another thing that we want to add in the dog care section is I want to edit the way the list of articles, or the list of chapters in this case, shows up on the menu page. So what I'll do is in the dog care section, I can click on list of articles, and I can edit this to look a little nicer as well. And I like to go with this one here. So all of the chapters are lined up. I'm going to remove the author and the date again from this section. So if I scroll down, then I can uncheck info, and it'll remove the author and date from there. And I'm also going to make the text a little smaller, so I'm going to change it to 20, so it kind of fits a little nicer inside of there. And then I'll click on the back button, and then I'm going to edit the articles as well. So again, I'm going to remove the date and the author. So for that, I'll scroll to the very bottom, and here you need to know a little bit of HTML, but it's pretty simple. It's just the section here to just after the div and the sideways triangle. I'm not sure what the name is for that particular icon. The arrow, I guess. So the right and left arrow, you want to remove that and then click on OK. And that will remove the information at the top, so the date and the author information. Okay, and then everything else is looking pretty good. One other thing that I want to be changed is that when I click into the actual article here, I want to edit this section here. And that can be done by clicking into article again. And I can also choose the format or the layout that I like for the articles. So I'm going to have the dog image showing above the article information instead of the dog image first. I think it looks a little bit cleaner to have it that way. And then the icons will show up at the bottom here. And by doing that, then when I click into introduction, for instance, it shows like this. And you can also edit the header at the very top of the article itself. And to do that, you click on, actually, no, it would be for each section that you can edit the header. So for instance, we're in dog care section, but the very top is still showing dog training. So if I want to edit that, I would click on dog care. And then at the top, you can edit the header here as well. And I can change this to dog care, click enter. I can update the text font and also the text size. And so I'll make it 25 points as well. And then I can close that or return to the previous menu. I'll do the same thing for the About Us section because, well, the About Us, it already has the title at the top, so that's not necessary. But for dog photos, I would want to do the same thing. So update the header to dog photos. Click enter, and then I'm also going to change that to 25 points. Perfect. And it's all sort of coming together. So now if I click on the home page, I have my dog training at the top, dog care section. I have my dog photos. I have my terms and conditions and privacy policy. Let's add in our disclaimer as well. So click on edit links, and I can add a third link into here, call it disclaimer. And I'm going to add a fourth link, and that will be our About Us as well. And then those all get added in there. And then the last thing that we want to do before we can actually publish the application is adding in our icon image and our splash pages. So clicking on Design and Structure and General Design, we're going to then go on the right-hand side and click on Icon. From there, I can create my icon for this particular app. Now, what you can do is if I click on Custom, there needs to be a number of different sizes for each icon image that is created. So that'll be for iOS, for Android, and for your PWA. Instead, what you can do is using the wizard, you can create one image. I like to go with 1000 by 1000, and I can upload that into the wizard here and then generate all of the specific sizes that are needed in the custom section. So instead making one image, one size, and it will auto-generate the additional sizes that are needed. So what I'm going to do is I've already created the image that needs to be used. So I'm going to click on Browse. I'm going to pull up my dog training icon, and that gets pulled up into there. And then I'm going to click on generate. And for my icon image, I want to make sure that the icon image displays the title of my application as large as possible. Alternatively, you can just have a simple, logo or design in the center. But the thing is that this shows up very small on Google Play. So when you are actually publishing the application, you want to make note of that when you're publishing it. Now I can see that in the custom section, we have the images all showing up for iOS, for our Android, and for our PWA. Perfect. So the next thing we want to do is we want to create our launch screen. So this is the screen that shows up when individuals have just downloaded the application onto their phone, and it is while the application is loading in the background, they will get a load screen image that displays while the application is loading up. What we want to do is we want to make this image enticing so that the user stays on the application until it loads. It can take between 20 to 30 seconds, so we want to make sure that we are adding some content into there to make it appealing to the user. And there are 3 images, or I should say there's 1 image and 3 sizes that need to be created. 1 for iOS, 1 for Android, and 1 for a tablet. And so I have already created these images, so let's upload them here. The first one is 1242 by 2688, and that is going to be this one here. The next one, once that has processed, is going to be for Android, and that image size is 1440 by 2560. And now my images that I've created are the exact same across all the different platforms. It's just a quick and simple design that I have created. You can definitely make yours more appealing and geared towards the audience or industry that you are targeting. And for mine, I've just simply included the name of the application, which is dog training, a little message to the user, just letting them know that the application is loading, and then the logo or the image of the icon image. So you can definitely tailor it to the way you want, what resonates most with your audience, and go from there. Perfect. So once those have been loaded up into the dashboard, then I can simply click on the very top, which is called dashboard, and I can go ahead and click on publish in Google Play. So once everything is ready to go, I've added in all my content, I've added in my privacy policies, I've added in all the other little knickknacks that I want to add in for the application. I can then go ahead and submit it to the stores, and I can either have Good Barber complete the process of submitting it to the stores. It does cost $50, which is equivalent to 5 credits, or you can submit it directly yourself. So it is completely up to you, whatever works within your budget and your time. And there you have it. So we created this application. It didn't take too long to create, and we're ready now to actually go ahead and publish it onto the respective stores. So if you enjoyed watching this content, please hit the like button and be sure to subscribe for more content like this. We'll see you in the next one. Bye.